The crimson alert lights bathed the Zephyrian command deck in an ominous glow, as Admiral Vextar's four eyes studied the long-range scanner display. His chitinous fingers clicked nervously against the command console, a habit he'd developed during his 3 centuries of military service. Never before had he encountered readings quite like these. "Admiral," his tactical officer hissed through translator implants, "the human vessel maintains its trajectory. Estimated time to engagement 47 minutes. Vextar's mandibles clicked in what other species might interpret as laughter, but his crew knew better. It was the sound their admiral made when contemplating the destruction of inferior beings. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered 47 star systems in the past decade alone. No species had ever withstood their technological superiority. "A single ship," Vextar mused, his voice carrying across the bridge. "The humans send one vessel against our entire battle fleet. Their arrogance will be their undoing." What the Admiral couldn't see were the 2 humans aboard that approaching vessel, deep within its armored heart. "Kinza, run final diagnostics on the Ragnarok cannons," Adam called out from the captain's chair of the UES Defiant. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the ship's climate control systems working perfectly. This wasn't nervousness, it was anticipation. Kinza's fingers danced across her console with practiced precision, her dark hair tied back in a regulation ponytail that had seen better days. They'd been running silent for 18 hours, and the recycled air carried the familiar scent of ozone and determination. "All weapon systems green, Adam," she reported, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what they were about to attempt. "Fusion reactors at maximum output, deflector shields calibrated for multi-spectrum bombardment. The Zephyrians won't know what hit them." Adam nodded, his jaw set with grim determination. 6 months ago, the Zephyrian Empire had glassed the human colony on New Adelaide. 50,000 civilians, men, women, and children, had been vaporized in what the aliens called a demonstration of superior firepower. The Galactic Council had offered their thoughts and prayers. Humanity had offered something else entirely. "Kinza," Adam said quietly, "remind me why we're out here." She looked up from her console, her brown eyes reflecting the starlight streaming through the bridge viewport. "Because someone needs to show the galaxy that humanity doesn't forgive, and we sure as hell don't forget." Aboard the Zephyrian flagship, confusion was beginning to replace confidence. The human ship had just crossed into weapons range, but instead of the expected barrage of primitive kinetic projectiles, their sensors detected something far more disturbing. "Admiral," the science officer's translator crackled with static, "I'm reading massive energy buildups across the human vessel's hull. These signatures, they don't match anything in our databases." Vextar's 4 eyes narrowed to slits. "Elaborate." "Sir, the energy patterns suggest they've somehow weaponized their primary fusion reactors. That should be impossible. The containment failure alone would destroy their ship." A chill ran down the Admiral's segmented spine. In all their conquests, they'd never encountered a species willing to turn their own life support systems into weapons. It was madness. It was illogical. It was human. "Kinza, are you ready to make history?" Adam asked, his hand hovering over the firing control. She glanced at the tactical display showing 43 Zephyrian warships arranged in perfect formation, a formation designed to showcase their overwhelming superiority. They had no idea they'd just presented humanity with the perfect target. "I've been ready since New Adelaide," Kinza replied, her finger finding the secondary firing control. "Let's show them what happens when you underestimate human ingenuity." The UES Defiant had been built in secret over 18 months, incorporating technology that should have been impossible. Human engineers had looked at the fundamental laws of physics and asked not, "Can we do this?" but "How can we make this more destructive?" They'd taken fusion reactors designed to power cities and turned them into weapons that could crack planets. They'd weaponized the very forces that gave them life. "On my mark," Adam said, watching as the Zephyrian fleet moved into optimal firing position. 3, 2, 1, fire. The first indication Admiral Vextar had that this engagement wouldn't proceed as planned was when his flagship's shield simply ceased to exist. No warning, no degradation. They were there one moment and gone the next, as if the universe had forgotten they were supposed to exist. The second indication was when the human weapon struck his hull. It wasn't an explosion in any conventional sense. The Defiant's Ragnarok cannons fired controlled fusion reactions. Miniature stars compressed into projectiles and launched at near light speed. When they impacted, they didn't just destroy matter. They converted it directly into energy, following Einstein's elegant equation with devastating efficiency. Vextar's last thought, as his molecular structure joined the expanding plasma cloud that had once been the pride of the Zephyrian fleet, was a grudging respect for a species that had turned their understanding of stellar physics into an art form of destruction. Kinza watched the tactical display as 43 red dots winked out of existence in the span of 17 seconds. The silence on the bridge was profound. Not the quiet of space, but the deeper silence of witnessed annihilation. "Adam," she said softly, "remind me never to get on humanity's bad side." Adam leaned back in his captain's chair, watching the debris field that moments before had been the Zephyrian Empire's most powerful fleet. Somewhere in that expanding cloud of superheated plasma were the atoms that had once comprised Admiral Vextar and his crew, now indistinguishable from the stellar matter their weapons had created. "Send a message to Earth Command," Adam instructed. Mission accomplished. The galaxy now knows that humanity's capacity for both creation and destruction stems from the same source, our refusal to accept that anything is impossible. As the UES Defiant turned toward home, carrying news of humanity's first major victory in the galactic war, the stars themselves seemed to burn a little brighter, as if the universe approved of what it had witnessed. The Zephyrian Empire would rebuild eventually. Other alien civilizations would rise to challenge humanity's place among the stars, but they would do so knowing one fundamental truth that would echo across the galaxy for generations to come. When humans said, "Nothing will survive," they weren't making a threat. They were making a promise.